What's going on YouTube, Robocast Gaming here, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys a detailed tutorial on how to play Unturned 3.0. Now, I know a lot of people, whenever they first spawn in, they kind of get confused on what to do, they don't really know what to do, and I've noticed that there's not really any proper YouTube tutorials about this stuff. So, this should be helping you guys out a little bit at least, and if you already know a little bit about the game, I would recommend skipping through the video to like a later part of it, and you could probably actually learn some pretty new stuff, because I research everything that I'm saying before I actually say it, so it should help you guys out a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do enjoy any time, feel free to like and subscribe, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So whenever you first open up your menu, you'll notice that on the left there's a Play tab, a Survivors tab, a Configuration tab, and a Workshop tab. Now obviously the Workshop tab is for workshop content, which is kind of something you should probably experiment with later in the game. And then above that there's Configuration, which is settings, Survivor, which is kind of like character customization, and then of course there's Play, which puts you into the game. So what I would recommend doing before you actually try to hop into a game is try to like mess around and check what all your key bindings are. So to do that, click on Configuration and click on Controls, and you can pretty much see everything that has to do with key settings. There's quite a bit of settings. You probably should scroll through them and look around a little bit before you try to play, just because you don't want to be just like walking down the road, try to crouch, and you don't know what you're doing. It's probably recommended that you check your settings first just to make it a little bit easier for you. But once you do that, you should be safe to hop into the game. So to do that, obviously click on Play, and for the sake of the video, we're just going to click on Single Player, and then of course, whenever you click on here, you'll notice that there's three maps. There's PEI, Washington, and Yukon. Now to explain these maps a little bit, I'm just going to tell you guys like some details about them. So first of all, I would recommend PEI to be the easiest out of the three maps. Probably PEI would be the easiest, Washington would be like medium, and then Yukon would be the hardest. So basically, PEI is probably the easiest to navigate. There's pretty much like the most loot out of any of them. The maps are full, there's stuff everywhere, and it should just be easier to survive. So whenever you're first starting out, I would recommend going on PEI map. It's just like the simplest. And of course, there's Washington, which is probably like the medium, as I said. Loot isn't as common, and it's a little bit harder to survive. And then finally, there's Yukon, which would be the hardest to survive. It's like there's snow, you could die of freezing and stuff. It's a lot harder to survive in those. Now if you're wondering why do I have 3 extra maps on here that aren't on yours, the reason why is because I downloaded those as workshop mods, which by the way, if you want me to make a video on how to download workshop mods, please let me know in the comments below. So as I said, for the sake of the video, we're going to go ahead and hop into PEI, and right here by the way, you can change your difficulty. There's easy, normal, hard, and then gold if you have the gold membership, but just for the video, again, I'm going to be going with easy. I want to try to make this as easy as possible for you guys, so if you're first starting out, I would recommend going on easy. So I just spawned in, and as you notice on the bottom left, there is a little HUD with different bars on them. And I'm going to go and explain that real fast just to let you guys know what each one stands for. So the first one is health, obviously. That goes down if you get hit by zombies, get shot, fall off a tree, doesn't really matter. That goes down quite easily, so you need to be careful with that one. Keep your eye on it. Below that is food, so that goes down when you get hungry. Below that is water, obviously it goes down when you get thirsty. And then the green bar, which some people are kind of confused about, is your infection. So the higher that is, the better. If it's at 0%, you have no infection left, or whatever you want to call it. You're pretty much completely infected, and you'll start losing health. So you don't want that bar to get below like 50. I would not recommend it getting below 50. And there are ways to heal that bar, which I will explain later in this video. But basically, that goes down if you get hit by zombies or you eat food that's rotten. Now, if you're on an easy world like this one, you don't have to worry about rotten food, but you still can get hit by zombies, so be careful about that. Under that is the stamina bar, which obviously moves whenever you sprint. And then under that is oxygen, which goes down whenever you're underwater. So on pretty much all of the Unturned maps, there are tons of locations where you could spawn. You could spawn way over there, you could spawn over there, you could spawn here, you could spawn over there. There's like tons of places where you could spawn. Now, it really doesn't make a difference where you spawn. Just remember that whenever you first start out, you do not have a map, and you have to find a map on your own. Now, if you're on a server with like kits or something, some of them may give you a map. It really just depends on the server, obviously. But just try to find a map or a chart, and once you do that, it should be a lot easier to navigate. I will go over again where to find those in the future. So once you first spawn in, I would recommend heading to the nearest town and trying to find some clothes. Now, clothes are probably one of the most important things, obviously besides a gun and food, but clothes are pretty important. They're pretty far up there on the list of things that you need. And the reason why is because your inventory gets a lot bigger whenever you have clothes on. So for example, if you want to open up your inventory, hit G on your keyboard, and you'll notice that it's completely empty. So I'm going to explain real fast what each section stands for. Now right here is your hands. It's basically just like a storage compartment. For example, the more clothes you have on, this will be further down. So this will be like completely full of boxes. There's a hand section, a jacket section. Depending on what you're wearing, there's like a backpack, whatever. That's what this little middle section is for. Now on the bottom left, you'll notice that there's two boxes. The first one is for your primary weapon, which you can pull up by hitting 1 on your keyboard, and the second one is for your secondary weapon, which comes up if you hit 2 on the keyboard. And then over here on the far right, there's the nearby tab. So for example, if there were some loot on the ground, I could just like walk by, kind of like in DayZ, press G, and then on the right side, you'll notice that there's loot that's on the floor. So it doesn't really matter where you spawn, clothes can be pretty much found anywhere. Like no matter where you are, there's different types of clothes. For example, in a town there's going to be civilian clothes. Obviously in a prison, which is over there's going to be prison clothes. It really just depends on where you're at. So what you want to try to do is sneak into one of the outer houses and try to get some clothes. Now a lot of you guys may not know this if you're new, but there is a zombie barrier. Basically, what this means is that zombies have a range of places where they could go. So for example, as you just saw, once he got like outside his city boundary, he basically just stopped moving and just stands there. So this is a great way to farm zombies, by the way. Just like a little off note going on right here. If you get the zombies right on the outside of the zone, just stand next to them and hit them. Don't do that. Just hit them outside the zone, and you can literally just kill them and get some pretty good XP for just doing nothing and not even risking yourself getting hit. So just pull them up to the edge of the map and start hitting them. Now back to what I was saying, try not to attract any zombies while you're looting places. It just makes it so much easier. And whenever you have nothing, basically what happens is if you alert a zombie, you kind of have to run to the edge of the boundary as I just did, or else you're probably going to die. Because especially if multiple ones come, you're easily going to die, and they'll just completely wreck you. So for example, right now, you see a civilian vest on the ground, so you can pick that up by hitting F on it, and it'll go into your vest slot. And now, as you can tell, I have a vest in my vest slot. Here's a hat, so I put that on, and now, of course, I have myself a nice little hat. Now, these right here are my cosmetics, so if I were to take those off, you'll see that I have a vest and a hat. So as you're looting the map, going around looking for clothes and stuff, basically what you want to do is you want to try to crawl and go behind the zombies as much as possible. You want to try to keep your distance away from them, and definitely you want to crawl on the ground. Because, for example, if I were to stand up and walk, that zombie would instantly be alerted and he would come after me. So try to crawl everywhere, you'll be a lot more stealthy and you have a lot higher of a chance of not being detected. So once you have a decent number of clothes, you want to try to get a melee weapon. So melee weapons are pretty much anything that you can hit zombies with. So you could even have a flashlight as a melee weapon, you could have a hockey stick, a knife, a baseball bat, basically whatever. You need to try to find yourself a melee weapon, and they're pretty common. You could pretty much find them guaranteed in a town somewhere. So get a melee weapon of some sort, and then once you do that, you should be a little bit safer. Again, obviously, still don't try to alert like 50 zombies. You're probably going to die if you do that. Try to alert like one at a time, and you can start hitting them. So for example, you don't want to alert all those over there. You want to alert this one. So kind of just like I guess crouch, walk up next to it. I don't really know what I'm trying to say here. Try to get his attention, or just do that if he doesn't listen. And basically just farm these zombies one at a time, and you'll notice once you kill them at the bottom, you get +3 experience. So once I just killed him, you notice that I got an ace. And that's definitely good, because an ace is a pretty decent gun, and as you could tell, it is in my inventory now. So you want to try to farm some zombies, and you could probably get some pretty good loot from them, but mainly the main reason you want to farm these zombies is to get some XP. So as you can tell, I'm getting a little bit hungry, and obviously whenever you do that, you want to try some food. Now there are a couple of possibilities of where you can find food. First of all, there's pretty much all of the houses. You can find food in pretty much all of them. The chances are you're not going to find a lot of food or good food, but you can find a little bit of food like candy bars, granola bars, stuff that'll like refill your health a little bit. And then also you can go in like restaurants, diners, and actually the best place would have to be the grocery store, which is where I'm at right now. You can identify it by the bright yellow building, and it says grocer on the top. So once you find it, obviously sneak over to it, jump in the window, and you could go in a heyday and pretty much grab all the food that you have in here. I would recommend grabbing pretty much all of it just because, I don't know, you don't want to have to make multiple trips to come get food. Food is probably the most annoying thing about this game, how much it requires it. You have to have food all the time, so just grab all the food you can in here and keep it on you. So I just looted this entire place, and as you could tell, I have quite a bit of food in my inventory. Now you're probably wondering, how do you eat that? Well, first of all, you want to open up your inventory, click on the food you want to eat, click it on your character, and then it'll show up in your hands. And once it's like that, all you want to do is click, and you'll eat yourself some food. And as you notice at the bottom left, my food bar is now at 100, so I'm good on that. And obviously I want to top off my water too, so do the same thing. Get your soda, click it, drink it, and then now your water is going to be up at 100%. Now one thing that I do want to mention is that whenever your food and water is above 90%, you're able to regenerate health. So as you can tell, my health's at 93%, and if I were to wait a few minutes, it'll slowly go up because my food and water are both above 90. So as you can just tell, it went up from 93 to 94. So a good solution to, if you want to gain some health, is to try to get your food up above 90, and then you can easily gain some health. Now, let's say that you start bleeding or you're really low on health and you need to gain some more health. Now, one solution to that would be to grab medkits and stuff. You can find those at pharmacies, you can find those at hospitals and stuff, and once you find those, you do the same thing, just click it and put it on you and equip it. But let's say there are no hospitals around and you want to quickly heal yourself. A solution to that is either to get some scrap clothes or take some of the clothes you have on. So for the example here, we're just going to take some of the clothes that we have on us. So for example, I think I've said for example like 30,000 times in this video, but let's say that we're bleeding, we need to heal ourselves fast, and you'll notice that, by the way, with a bleeding icon at the bottom left. So what I want to do is I want to take off my shirt. So to do that, there's one of two ways you could do it. You can either click it right here in your inventory, or you could click it on your character and it'll come off. Now, once you have your clothing item of your choice, or backpack, or anything that is cloth, basically, have that in your inventory, go to crafting, click on the little shirt icon, and you can rip up your shirt and turn it into cloth. Now, you cannot heal yourself with cloth, you can't really do anything with it, but you can make bandages with it. So, go in your crafting again, click on the little plus healing icon thing, and you'll notice that you're able to make bandages. So, it takes 2 cloth to make a rag, you can make 2 rags, and then it takes 2 rags to make a bandage, and if you were to have 2 bandages, you can make a dressing. So those are like the least to the greatest. The rag is the least healing, the bandage is the second, and then the most healing is the dressing. So once you make that, again, just click it on your character, and you can heal yourself. So once you're good to go and you have food and a melee weapon and all the materials that you need, what you want to do now is try to get a bunch of zombies, bring them to the edge of the map, and start farming them by hitting them with your melee weapon. So I'm going to show you a little example here. I think another thing I've said 20 times in this video is example. I've used like 50 examples, but I guess that's kind of what I have to do in a video like this. So we're going to get these zombies to come all the way to the world barrier, and once we do that, as you can tell, we can pull out our melee weapon and just start punching them in the face, and they won't be able to hit you. Now, you sometimes have to do what I'm doing, kind of like slowly start backing up and they'll follow you, but for the most part, they'll just stand there, and you could just absolutely wreck them. And if they walk away, just run up, get their attention again, and then bring them back to the world barrier, and then just start punching them some more. So I just killed a bunch of zombies, and I have a total of 26 XP. Now, you're going to need a lot more than this to be able to do anything in your skill section, so try to get as many as you can. Also, by the way, you can get XP by chopping down trees, just a little hint there. But try to get like quite a bit of XP. I would have to say above 100, and once you do that, you should be able to upgrade some skills. So to open your skill menu, what you want to do is hit U on your keyboard, and then this menu here will pull up. Now, I'm going to kind of like do this part in detail because skills are probably one of the most important things in Unturned. So whenever you open up your skills menu, you'll see on the top that you have 3 little icons. One is offense, one is defense, and one is support. Now, for like playing on basically a server, I would recommend doing offense first. But if you're on your own personal world, I would recommend doing support. So let's just say we're on a server, for example, and we're going to upgrade our offense. Now, there's quite a bit of skills here. They basically tell you what everything does, but the most important ones to upgrade first would have to be cardio, exercise, and parkour. Definitely cardio and exercise first and then parkour, and the reason why is because once you upgrade these 2 all the way, you can sprint a lot longer without running out of stamina. So right now, basically, if I were to run, my stamina basically drains down like 5 per second. It goes really fast, and if I were to jump, I lose 10 each time I jump. So you run out of stamina really fast, and once you do that, you just have to walk slowly, let it regenerate, and then just keep going. So that's why I would say upgrade your cardio and exercise skills first. They're probably the most important, and then once you do that, I would probably move on to another skill tree. So let's say you do cardio, exercise, and parkour, and once you have all those maxed out, you can move on to something over here. You could really just pick these all on your own. You could read what they all are and decide what you want, but again, I would recommend doing cardio, exercise, and parkour first, just because it makes it a lot easier to navigate. So let's recap. At this point, you should have clothes, you should have a melee weapon, you should have food, possibly a gun, and also you should have your cardio, exercise, and parkour skills maxed out. And you're probably wondering, at this point, what do you do? What's the point now? Because you already have everything you need. That is not true. There are so many items in this game, and so much you can do. So what I would recommend doing now that you have everything upgraded, and you could travel a lot faster, and run a lot faster, and go faster. I don't know what I was trying to say there, but just try to get everything upgraded, and once you do that, what I would recommend doing is kind of just exploring. Now, exploring is a big part in Unturned, especially if you don't know the map. Now, I definitely know all the maps, so I know where everything is already. There's nothing new, but this game is really fun to explore whenever you first start out. That was probably my favorite thing about it, just running around and exploring. Now, I do want to mention that if you're on a server, be careful because the community in this game is not the best. For example, there's a bunch of little kids that'll just run up to you and KOS you for no reason. It's everywhere. Like, there's pretty much no guarantee that you're going to survive the next 5 minutes if you're in a server. So be careful, try to like go around the outskirts of the map and kind of just explore and try to find some items. At this point, you're kind of on your own. There's really nothing else I need to tell you until we get into the crafting and base building. So what you need to do is just travel around, grab some items. You could probably find some guns. You could probably find all types of items, bigger backpacks and better clothes and stuff. Kill some zombies, get some XP, max out all your skills. Just do some self-explanatory stuff like that, exploring, gathering loot, and then I'll show you what to do once you do that. So once you do a little bit of looting, you should get quite a few items, get some weapons, get some new clothing and stuff, like my new backpack right there. You should get all types of cool stuff. And once you do that, you're pretty much good to build a base. And I know you guys probably want to build a base. That's probably a good reason why you watch this video. You want to learn how to make a base. And I'm going to explain to you how to do that now. So first of all, before you make a base, I would recommend either having a chainsaw or an axe. Either that or it's going to take forever to punch down a bunch of trees and knock them down and gather the wood. Now chainsaws cut down trees a lot faster. You can find them at any farm location, and you can also find axes at any camp location. So wherever there's tents, you can find an axe, and wherever there's like a farmhouse and a farm, you can find a chainsaw. So I have a chainsaw, and I'm going to show you guys what to do now. So let's say you want to build a base. Well, location on single player doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all, actually. But on multiplayer, there's quite a few good locations where you can build a base, and that's something you guys are going to have to research. I'm not exactly the best base location person, so try to like research it. Where are the best places to build a base on blah 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 map, and you could probably find some good videos about it. So let's say you're going to build a base right here, and you want to build a base out of this, brown tree. So what you want to do is go ahead and go around and chop down a bunch of these brown trees, and get all the wood that you get from them. So as you can see, a chainsaw does a lot faster. If you were to punch that tree, it would take like 5 times longer, but just for the sake of the video, I'm going to go ahead and chop down some trees, and then I'll show you guys what to do. Okay, so I just chopped down 3 trees. You're going to need a lot more than that, but I'm just going to show you an example with a small base. I'm not going to build some like huge giant base. Again, I'm just going to show you something small. So once you have a decent number of logs in your inventory, you want to open up your crafting by hitting Y, and then like in this little search bar right here, you want to type in these things. So to start out, you're going to need a floor. So type in floor, and then a floor will show up for whatever type of wood you have. Right here, maple floor. Go ahead and click that to craft it, and now you have yourself like the base of your building. So again, you could expand this to whatever size you want. I'm just going to do something really small for the sake of the video. I don't want to spend a long time just sitting there like building stuff. That's something I should do for another video. By the way, if you want to watch a pretty cool base build, go ahead and check out this link. It will be in the description below. It's a pretty cool base design my friend Adam made. So find a good flat spot, and then go ahead and place your foundation. So for the example of the video, I'm just going to say right here there's a good spot, and go ahead and just place your foundation. So once you have this, you need the pillars, the walls, and the roof, and the door. So it's not really an easy task making a base. I would recommend doing it with friends if you have friends online or if you're on a server, but bases are definitely a cool aspect of the game. They're probably one of the most fun aspects. So the first thing you want to do is place your foundation, then hit Y again, open up your crafting, and search pillar. Pillar. There's a pillar. You need to make 4 of these to support your walls and stuff, and don't worry, you can salvage them later if you want like a big open space in your base. So go ahead and place your pillars down on the corners of your foundation, and you have yourself, I guess, a support, I guess you could call it. I don't really know. So there's my pillars. Now obviously you need walls, so go ahead and search walls. I'm sure you get the idea here. Search wall. There you go. What does say 1 wall for this? Ah crap, I made 2. Place 1 wall down, place the other wall down, and then obviously place your 3rd wall down. And then next, you need to make a door, you need to make a doorway, and then you make a roof. Now one thing I do want to mention is that wooden doors do not work. There's no purpose in making a wooden door unless you're on a single player world. If you're on a server, you want to make a metal door, or basically anybody can walk into your base. So just gather some metal. I will put the crafting recipe for the metal door on the screen right now. Gather all those materials there, and once you do that, you can make yourself a metal door. Now, one thing to note, if you're on a multiplayer server, you need to be in a group for your friends to access your metal door. There's no like codes or anything, there's no locks or anything. You have to be in the same group. So let's say you wanted to build a base with a metal door and you wanted your friend to be able to open the door. What you want to do is go to your main menu, click on survivors, click on groups, and you basically want to set yours and your friend's group as the same. So you need to tell your friend to do the same thing you just did. Let's say your friend is in the Tommy's crew group. Well, you got to set yours to that too to be able to access the door with him. So if you're in Tommy's crew and you place the door down, your friend has to be in Tommy's crew to be able to open the door. Now you need to be careful with like big public groups, like for example my group has like 700 members in it. If you were to go in my group, place a door down, and somebody else on the same servers in my group, they could access your door. So if I were you, I would build a private group that only like your friends can join, and then you could have like a private group where nobody could get in your base. Now instead of explaining every single individual craftable item That would take absolutely ages. There's a ton of good items in this game, but I'm just going to explain something else instead of having to explain every single item. I mean, I do want you guys to be able to learn for yourselves, just because if you watch it in a video, the chances are you're not going to remember everything. So once you learn it yourself, though, you usually remember stuff easier. So I'm just going to tell you this. You want to open up your skills menu again by hitting U, and make sure you have around like 200 extra XP sitting in your inventory. Go to the support tab, and look for the little icon that says crafting. What you want to do is upgrade that maximum, and now basically every single crafting item in the game is on here. But I do want to say the items only show up if you have the materials to make it in your inventory. So if I had like a duct tape in my inventory, stuff that is made using duct tape, like this for example, will show up. If I didn't have that duct tape, this item would not show up at all. But the reason I'm telling you guys this is because it's a lot easier just to like see what you have and see what you can make with what you have than it is for me to explain everything. It would take way too long. That should be like a little nice tip for you guys. It should make stuff a lot easier, and we're going to move on to one last thing. So let's say you have a weapon and you just fired all the bullets you have, and now your weapon is empty and it will not shoot anymore like mine. There is a way to reload it. Basically what you want to do is hold down T on your keyboard, and then you have like a little menu right here. Just click the blue like magazine button, and it'll pull out your magazine. Then go into your crafting and go in the ammo section, and it'll say what type of ammo it takes to fill that up. So for example, if I did not have this in my inventory, if I were to drop this on the ground, it'll still tell you what type of ammunition you need. So it'll tell you what type you need to find to be able to reload your gun. And of course, if you have it, just go back into crafting and you could reload a magazine, and then to put it back in your gun, all you want to do is hit R and it'll equip it in your gun. So the same method goes with attachments. So let's say I wanted to put a pretty nice scope on this gun. Let's say I found an 8x scope and I wanted to put it on this gun. All you have to do is hold down T again and click on the scope that shows up right here. It'll show up like different ones. For example, if you have 4 of them, there'll be one here, one here, one here, and one here. And basically what you want to do is just click that, and then it'll put it on your weapon, and you have yourself a better scope on your weapon. And then again, if I wanted to do it for the bipod, just click this, and now you have a bipod on your weapon too. It's a pretty nice little thing. I really love the weapon customization in this game. It's pretty good, but that's how you do that in case you were wondering. And now for the final thing in today's video, it has to do with driving. So there are multiple types of vehicles. There's boats, there's cars, there's trucks, there's planes, and helicopters. I believe that's it. And they're really simple to drive. If you want to drive a truck, you want to fill it up with gas, get inside, and just drive it around. Now just remember this. If you want to drive in third person, which is a lot easier, all you want to do is hit H, and then you could drive in third person. And by the way, if you're wondering, how do I fill up this car with gas? All you need to do is find a gas can, click it on something that holds gas, like go to the gas station, click it on the pump, and then click it on your car. And then you can fill up your car with gas and drive around the map. Boats are driven the exact same way, so yeah, they're pretty simple. And then of course there's helicopters and planes. Now I did do a video on how you fly planes. I will link that in the description below, but I never did a video on how to fly helicopters. So I just spawned in a sky crane. By the way, you can find all these legit and stuff, but I spawned in a sky crane, and now I'm going to show you guys how to fly it. So obviously, first hop inside, and now I'm going to go over the controls. So to go up higher, all you want to do is hold down W on your keyboard, and you'll notice your RPMs go up, and you start to, of course, fly, like a helicopter does. And now there are some key bindings, and there's 2 different ways you can do this. First of all, if you're in first person like this, you fly by moving your mouse, and basically whichever way you tilt your mouse is the way that your helicopter goes. It's kind of hard to explain, and it's a little bit confusing, but you guys will get the hang of it eventually. It took me a while, and really, I'm still not really that good at it. And if you're in third person, you're able to use your arrow keys on your keyboard. So for example, if I were to press up, it'll lean back. If I were to press down, it'll lean forward, and then left and right will lean left and right. It's pretty simple. It's really just something you have to practice with. Like, it took me forever to learn how to fly it, and I'm still not really that good of a pilot, but eventually I'll probably be a master pilot, and really, again, you just kind of want to mess around with it. I don't know. It's not really something I can explain on a video. Okay guys, well I hope this video helped you guys out. It was a pain in the butt to make. It took me forever, and I have like no voice left after the time of my recording. Now I know this was like a 20-minute video, but it literally took me 4 hours to record, because I just say really stupid stuff whenever I record. I just like sound really dumb. But guys, that is going to be it for this video, so I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy the video at any time, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.